Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. Thanks for click and play. My name is Jesse Hill, and I'm the president of Tier 3 IT Solutions. I wanted to just take a couple minutes really quickly today to share a little analogy or a visualization that we were talking about in our office this week. And it's one of the things about running an IT service provider, a managed IT service provider, that is very difficult because the term means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And I know, because I've been in this business for a long time, that not all IT service providers and managed IT service providers are the same. And specifically, what I want to talk about today is what does it mean to be proactive as an IT service provider? So if you would have asked me this 5 years ago, I would have told you to be proactive means that I'm doing patch management for all my clients, that we have a good commercial grade antivirus solution, and that we're running automatic offsite daily backups, with encryption and reporting. And by doing those three things and having a support team that's available to respond to any questions or problems that you have, we considered ourselves to be proactive. Now, in the last 4 years, I've learned a lot of things that have really got me to rethink this term proactive and what does it mean. And so today, our definition of being proactive means that we have people in defined roles with activities that are planned and scheduled in advance that are designed to reduce the number of interruptions our clients experience from technology. What does that mean, though? So we had this analogy, this visualization. And so imagine you're the mayor of a town. And in this town, there are houses and businesses and buildings all over the place. And, the unfortunate thing with buildings is they light on fire. And we decide as a town, because they're just burning to the ground, we don't want that to happen anymore. So we build a fire department, a fire hall. And in that fire hall, we have fire trucks and we have firefighters. And every time a house or a building lights on fire, the firefighters get in the fire truck, they run over, they spray the water on it, and then they go back and they wait for the alarm to go off again. This is a lot like reactive IT services. The typical IT services company, and I know this because I've been doing this a long time, but the typical IT services company, if you look at their org chart, they have firefighters. They have support technicians who have to do all of these different jobs, but really, when the alarm sounds, they get in the truck, they run over, they spray water on a fire, and they go back. It is reactive. So we go back to this analogy. You're the mayor, you've got a team of firefighters, and they're stopping fires from spreading, but things are still lighting on fire. So you have a meeting and you say, all right, community, we want fewer fires to start. Well, how are we going to do that? And you might come up with a plan where you say, we're going to have somebody visit every single home in the community to install a smoke detector, make sure that they have a working fire extinguisher, and give them a brochure and a pamphlet about how to avoid fires in the home, right? I mean, we would consider this, having antivirus monitoring and a cybersecurity awareness program. And the thing is that when we look at this analogy of the town, I think we all understand that the firefighters who ride the fire truck, their number one priority is taking the fire truck when there's a fire. So if their job is to also do these preventative tasks, well, every time the alarm rings at the fire hall, they have to go back and they have to stop what they're doing. And this is the same in a lot of IT services companies where they have the intention, but they don't have the distinction or the definition in their org chart to say the person who's doing these preventative tasks does not do support tickets. They don't have to go back to the fire hall because they're not a firefighter. We roll on with this analogy and we say, okay, well, it's great that we have people to put the fires out, support techs. It's great that we have people that are going out and doing some training and putting some protections in place, and this could be the cybersecurity team. But we also would think that it would be a good idea if we just built houses in a way that they were less likely to catch fire and spread to others. So building codes. In the IT space, we call this standards and compliance. And this is a really important and growing aspect to proactive IT management because technology is changing rapidly. It is increasingly complex as we have multiple cloud service and on-prem services and people working from home and people working in the office and sharing information all these different ways. And there's two components to it. There's the technical component, making sure that all of the client's networks adhere to the technical standards that we've developed, that the industry has established as best practices, that your software vendors and providers have kind of dictated or mandated. But then there's also the component of thinking about how does this affect our strategy as a business? As a community, how do our building codes, zoning, apply to the type of community that we want to have? And this is the same thing in the IT space, is you have to have somebody in a dedicated role who's helping connect the technology standards and compliance to the business's objectives. So this whole analogy that I'm talking about, again, it's, I hope it makes sense, but the idea is that to us today, to be a proactive IT service provider means you have people in assigned roles with tasks and activities that are scheduled in advance, that are designed to reduce the number of interruptions that our clients experience as a result of technology. So if you're wondering how to tell if your IT service provider understands this and is doing this, take a look at the org chart. Because if somebody's job is to do standards and compliance, technical standards and compliance, and they do support tickets, and they do project deployments, then they are not proactive because they can't be. Every time there's an alarm at the fire hall, the firefighters have to stop doing all of those things and go put out the fire. So it's all about the org chart. I hope this makes sense and helps to explain a little bit about what we do differently and how you can have a good conversation with your IT service provider about what it means to be proactive. If you have any questions, reach out. Happy to chat. Thanks a lot. We'll talk soon.